Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Fly With Us podcast. This podcast is bringing the art of conversation, self-love, self-care, mental health care and protection, life lessons, love lessons, and everything in between. I'm Lady Bounce, and today I have a special co-host.
I'm Elu.
Before we begin, I always got to tell you where to find us. You can find us on
Instagram,
Facebook,
Twitter,
and you can email us at flywithusla@gmail.com. We have received lots of feedback from our Facebook page. We really think it's awesome that you guys are doing the self-care assignments and letting us know how it's working for you. So today's topic is going to be all about self-care, summer of self-care. So Elu, tell us, what do you do for self-care?
I listen to music or I talk with my friends. I listen to all types of music to calm down, like from the 80s, the 90s, jazz, hip hop, you name it. I'm listening to it to calm me down or to just ease my mind off of stuff, just doing everything I can just to, ease my mind. That's what I do.
So what do you do physically? So you listen to music, but what do you do physically? Do you exercise? Do you yoga? What do you do?
I'm a person who likes to get moving. Like, I fidget with my hands, or I'm like dancing to the music even. I do a lot when I start getting into my grooves.
So you be doing the most?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can you dance?
Yes, I can indeed.
Oh. On beat?
Yeah, yes, on beat.
On the 1-2 beat?
Yes, 1, 2, 3 beat even.
Oh, wait. All right. So for me, as a working mom, sometimes it's hard to get that self-care in. I gotta say, I've been doing a lot better with the self-care. I finished a book last week, and then I started another book. I'm excited. I got, if you remember from one of our other episodes with the 13 Days of Nikki, I got 3 new books. So I've been reading my books. I did receive a gratitude journal. I have yet to write in it. So I plan on starting my gratitude journal because I had one I was doing on paper. So I need to transfer that stuff into my actual book so I can keep it for forever and like add to it. What else? Yesterday, I closed my eyes for like 10 minutes. I didn't think about anything. I didn't watch TV. I wasn't on my phone. I literally just took 10 minutes off, which if you follow us on Facebook, that was actually one of our self-care assignments from last week on Facebook was to take 10 minutes off. And I did it. And it was the best 10 minutes. Have you ever taken 10 minutes off?
Yes, I have.
What did you do when you're 10 minutes off?
I went to sleep.
That was probably more than 10 minutes, though.
No, it was 10 minutes because something woke me up 10 minutes later. So.
Okay. So when we talk about self-care, do you ever talk to your friends about self-care and ask them what do they do for self-care?
Yes, that's how I get most of my music suggestions.
Oh.
And that's how we transfer music back and forth to each other because we're constantly just being like, hey, listen to this song when you feeling sad or listen to this song when you happy, or just dealing out songs to each other back and forth.
So those songs that you listen to when you're sad, are those sad songs or are they songs that uplift your spirits because you're sad?
Well, if you're like me, you have 2 different playlists for when you're sad. You have them songs that uplift you, make you feel happier. But other times there's those days where you just need to be sad. Like you need to take that day and to just be sad. And that's what the other playlist is for. That's when you take a sad day.
So when you take these sad days that you're talking about, does it help you not be sad when it's over, or are you still sad after you've taken your sad day?
Usually all your sadness is like out of your system. It's like taking a vacation or like taking like a day off of work.
Okay.
So it's just a sad day. You listen to your sad songs, you think about sad things just to get it out of your system. So that way when you're happy and something comes along your way that could bring your day down, you're like, I've already recovered this. I'm going to be okay. And you can still make your day great.
So is that like the same thing as People say you need a good cry, like one of those big old ugly
Oh,
cries.
yes. You need that big, ugly cry. I say at least once a month.
Once a month?
Yes.
Wow.
You need that big, ugly cry.
With the snot dripping in.
Yes.
All of that.
With the snot 10 yards down. Yes.
Looking like Roscoe off Martin.
Yes.
Oh.
You need that just... There's no one who... You need that what was me moment. Like, you need the... Man. Like,
so,
just take a day and just, be sad. And most people are like, you want me to just take a day and just be completely sad when I could just spend that day being happy? See, the thing is, if you're always happy, you're always going to be sad at the end of the day. Because they're always going to, without having that sad day, you can't think about the things that can make you sad. And you can't overcome them.
So you're saying if you don't take time to process whatever is making you sad, then even when you're happy, it's more like, I'm not genuinely happy. I'm pretending to be happy because that's what's expected. But really deep down, I'm feeling some type of way.
Yes.
Which is usually sadness.
Which that's where our problems come into depression and anxiety because we're not dealing with them properly. So in order to deal with them properly, we need that what was me, Roscoe, snot dripping. We need that cry at least once a month because without it, we're just going to be genuinely just unhappy. And even if we are happy, it's not genuine or it's not like we're only happy for like 20 minutes and it's a wrap. Like,
okay.
Or some people put on a mask. Like at the beginning of the day, they put on this big, happy, bright face mask. And then when it's over, they take this mask off and they're just full of sorrow and sadness because they haven't taken a day to go, I'm sad, let me figure out how to deal with it. And sometimes to deal with sadness is to just sit there and be sad. Like there's been plenty of days where like I've just been sitting there on my bed like I need to be sad or let me be sad today. Cause we all just need it. Cause there's a lot, life is stressful.
Life is stressful. So what kind of stressors do you have as a teenager, as a modern day teenager?
Oh,
just talk to us a little bit about the stresses that you have. Because a lot of people tend to dismiss you because you are a kid, quote unquote. Yes. And they go, oh, you don't have bills and you don't have work and you don't have this. You can't possibly know what stress and struggle is. Right. So what kind of stresses do you have as a teenager?
So for me, there's the stress of peer pressure.
Okay.
Of course, that's stress with everything. There's always going to be peer pressure. There's the stress of not stressing about your parents stressing. So what that means is, for me, I stress about my parents a lot because they're always stressing. So I'm like, okay, they have to get this done today. So that means I'm going to like take a step back and let them do what they need to do. Right. So I have that syndrome. Even though like to them, it's like, you aren't telling us what you need and you're not telling us what you have to do and stuff like that. It's simply me stepping back to let y'all have that hour, that 30 minutes of time to just be non-stressed. Cause I know adults have more stress than kids. Yes. But is their stress more important? That's debatable.
Oh, wow. What makes it debatable?
Well, see, stress is a big environmental factor.
Okay.
So, an adult wasn't always stressed.
True. I was not as stressed as I am now when I was a teenager. When I was a teenager, I didn't have to do anything. I had chores. I worked because I wanted to. My money was my money to spend. I didn't really have any bills. My parents took care of all of those things. My parents stressed out over us and over bills and all that. When I was a teenager, I was carefree. However, I think the teens that we have now, like your generation, you guys and girls have so much more to worry about and contend with than we had when we were teenagers. I mean, yes. My biggest issue when I was a teenager was probably learning how to drive or like getting invited to parties or places like that. But you guys have to worry about peer pressure supreme. You have to worry about sex and drugs, violence, You have to worry about who your friends are on top of, you know, school, if you decide to work, do volunteer work and stuff like that. So I definitely recognize that the stress that our teens have now is very real.
Yes. Being a teenager, like, stress is a very difficult thing for everyone on this planet. If you don't have stress, you're not a human being. I'm sorry to say it. But
or you're extremely rich and you can pay somebody to stress for you.
Well, even if you're super rich, you're still going to be stressed if that person doesn't do their job. I mean,
that is true.
You're still always going to have stress. Like, I would say if you didn't have stress, you're not human.
Okay.
So for me, my biggest stress being a teenager is police brutality. Because at any given moment, whether or not I'm with my parents or whether or not I'm by myself, there's a chance that I could be taken into custody. Someone I know could be taken into custody and I could be a witness for it. There's so many things about police that I struggle with because I don't really know how they operate. Because you can't always think that the police are going to be bad because there are good police. But you can't always think all the police are good because there's bad police.
Exactly.
So you never know what you're going to get. And that's kind of a thing for me. I'm a person who likes to like know what's going to happen.
Right.
And that's just who most of teenagers are. We have to know what's going to happen. If we don't know what's going to happen, like we get this element of like something bad that's going to happen automatically. Even if it's like the greatest thing in the world, we have that anxiety that it's going to be bad because we don't know.
Right. And there are some things that even if you knew, there's so many variables involved that still make it the unknown. So it becomes the known unknown. And as a teacher, dealing with kids, I worry and I stress more during the summer when I don't see my kids every day, when I can't check in with them to make sure that they're staying on the right path or they're being taken care of, that they eat every day. So it is definitely worrisome, you know, for me. And then and now the last 2 years I've had high school students. So I wonder and worry when I go back in the fall, am I going to see my students again because of, you know, either poor decision making on their part or police brutality or just being in a car with somebody that's your friend and something happened or there's an accident or something. So I always, you know, worry going back into the fall. Am I going to see my kids again? Because I haven't seen them all summer. And so I haven't had, like I said, that daily check-in. Like, hey, you good? Are you eating every day? Your mom still got that job? Is your dad still working? So, and then some of my kids, of course, they won't return. So I'll never see them again. And then I'm always going to have that. I always have that worry on my head or on my heart. Like, are my kids okay in the summer? Are they going to make it back to school in the fall? So that's definitely a stressor for teachers in the summer, teachers who really care, which is also a stressor for you teens because you guys have to navigate your lives and try to make it back to school in the fall.
Yes. Another thing for teenagers is that we not only do we have the stress of like peers, but we also have stress from our parents. We have the stress that like, cause sometimes,
no,
yes,
never,
cause our parents are very protective over us. As they should be. Mm-hmm. And yes, many things happen. You never know what could happen to anything at any time at any given moment. But there's also that element of you have to believe, like if you know you've raised and you know that the child knows how to use the proper mechanisms to defend his or herself or they know what to do or they have good mechanisms for it, you should let them kind of adventure out, like have them on a leash, but let the leash extend a little bit. Like our biggest thing is just we don't know if we can make plans with our friends or if we can have friends because we don't know how our parents are going to react. And it's really difficult to like bring that conversation with your parents. Like, hey, can I go over so-and-so's house? And your mom and dad is like, have I met the family? Are they
Absolutely.
good people? And I understand that perfectly. Feel like you want to make sure your child is safe, but then again, there's also that good judgment that comes from the child. Most kids nowadays have fantastic judgment.
Wait a whole minute.
I have very good judgment.
Church finger. What?
Cause okay, kids, even though we have our phases and we
phases, I like that,
and we have our ups and downs, we still know right from wrong. Now, whether we choose to do right or wrong is a different situation.
Okay,
we know them. Whether or not we do them is the ball game.
So let me throw this out at you. I don't know if you've ever thought about this or not, but per your own words of, right or wrong, whether you choose right or wrong, it's at any given moment, it's a split-second decision. But as your parents know that the wrong decision can result in a lifetime of consequences.
Yes.
So I get what you're saying about parents should trust their children to take the knowledge that they have instilled in them and do something great with it. However, parents also know what it's like to be a teenager and know about those split-second decisions that could end up horribly wrong, which is why during the summer, I recommend, and you've grown up experiencing, family trips, family vacations.
Yes.
So for our topic today, summer of self-care. So some of those trips, a staycation, and that could be something as simple as, we're in Ohio, so you can go to Cincinnati, go to Columbus for a weekend, or even for a week if you can get everybody's schedules together, because sometimes parents work in the summer, and so you gotta schedule it out. You can go to Kings Island and then decide to stay overnight in Cincinnati at a hotel, and then maybe get up and walk around downtown Cincinnati. Not a big deal, not super expensive, but it's more about being with your family and getting those kinds of experiences. And in a lot of those family trips, those family moments, that's when you get your nuggets, your nuggets of knowledge and wisdom and those things that you'll carry with you. And it also gives your parent a chance to get to know you in a different way, to kind of catch up, kind of, everybody stop or slow down and just reconnect. So those kinds of things are good. So can you tell me, as a modern teen, what are some places you'd like to visit during the summer? What are some things you'd like to do during the summer to not only de-stress, take care of yourself, and then reconnect with your family? Because during the school year, schedules are crazy. Everybody hustle, bustle, pick up, leave, drop off. Breakfast on the go is donuts. It's whatever you can grab. So in the summertime, where do you like to go? What do you like to do to de-stress and reconnect?
Well, me being a kid.
Oh boy.
I love Kings Island. Like, it is, I could go 10 times. Let's say I go 10 times in 10 days and I would never be bored.
Wow.
And let's say those 10 days, I ride the same 3 rides those 10 days. I will never get bored. Cause that's one of those things where you're just like, man, that's the greatest thing in the world to me. Is like, let me feel the exhilaration or be connected. Cause I'm a big scaredy cat. And if I'm riding on a roller coaster with my parents, I'm going to grab them and be like, hey, yo, check this out real quick. I'm a little scared.
A little scared? Just a little.
So, that's one of them. Another place I like to go is just any hotel with a pool.
Okay. That's simple. We have hotels with pools around here.
And water, to me, is like the most calming thing on planet Earth.
Okay.
Because the way it moves, you can take a cup of it and it's gonna move any way you want it to. It flows the way it wants to go. It's just free and it's out there and it covers more than half the planet. It's there.
So what you're saying is that as quote unquote old as you are, you still like to play in the water.
Yes.
Okay.
I still love to like roll around, not roll, but like, you know, flow around and just float with the water as I'm in the pool.
Chilling.
Okay. Yeah. Chilling, cruising.
So as we go into our self-care assignment, I'm going to give you some tips for self-care, for a summer of self-care, for reconnection. So obviously, you know, we've mentioned going to the amusement park. We have zoos in Ohio. The Indiana Zoo is really phenomenal. The Indiana Children's Museum, you've been there, and it's really great. We've been camping. We did like half camping.
Yeah, we did.
Because we did indoor-outdoor camping.
We did glamping.
Yeah, we did some glamping, if you will. Because I'm not sure if I'm ready to do a full-fledged camp out where you hunt and fish for your dinner. However, our self-care assignment is just that. Go camping. Camping can be incredibly fun and can teach you about mutual respect, responsibility, resilience, and survival strengths and weaknesses. Having the right gear and camping know-how can make the experience a lot more enjoyable. Talk with a professional at an outdoor store about where you like to camp and for how long. Make safety the top priority and discuss topics such as fire and water safety, wildlife encounters, getting lost, and avoiding noxious plants like poison ivy. You can get travel maps to become more familiar with park and park regulations before you head out. Spending time in nature can draw you closer to see the wonder of creation and enable you to renew and recharge your body and spirit. So I just talked about getting out in nature. So Miss Elu, could you kindly read the mindfulness minute?
Yes, indeed. Okay. Getting out of the office for a lunch break is one of the most important things to do during your day. You need to get away to recharge your battery and refocus, even if it's just for 30 minutes. The quickest way to get some relaxation is to find a park that is close to work and have a picnic. Before you leave for work in the morning or even the night before, pack a picnic basket with a lunch you can look forward to all day. Like, for example, a grilled chicken salad with baby spinach, strawberries, and blueberries. Yum! It's not only delicious, but it offers protein and important antioxidants. Remember to pack some healthy snacks that will give you the much needed boost of energy. Some include tangerines or clementines for a quick burst of energy, or some almonds or cashews for long lasting energy. And don't forget to add something a little decadent, you know.
Chocolates.
Like a chocolate cupcake.
What?
Or a few oatmeal raisin cookies.
You said nah.
Nah. Sit in the sun, close your eyes, forget what you have to do back at the office, and just enjoy your time away. This is something you can do every day or every once in a while to treat yourself.
Now I have done that. We have some nature spots near my job, and I've gone out with my coworkers to kind of like sit in the sun and eat, because sometimes it gets really cold in the building with the AC on. So just being outside, not being on our phones, is absolutely amazing. So, as we talked about being outside in nature.
So tell me, what is the magical brain science behind the nature?
As always, you know there's brain science behind everything that we do. And here at the Fly With Us podcast, even with the guest co-host, that doesn't stop. So, I'm going to give you 5 ways, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 ways that nature can make you kinder, happier, and more creative. As you know, we're spending more time indoors and online, but recent studies suggest that nature can help our brains and our body to stay healthy. Did you know that? So number 1, being in nature decreases your stress. It is clear that hiking and any physical activity can reduce stress and anxiety. But there's something about being in nature that may augment those impacts, which means it makes them stronger, it makes them better, makes them pop, if you will. In one recent experiment conducted in Japan, participants were assigned to walk either in a forest or in an urban center, taking walks of equal length and difficulty while having their heart rate, variability, and blood pressure measured. The participants also filled out questionnaires about their moods and how they felt. The results showed that those who walked had significantly lower heart rates and less stress than those who didn't. Right. So, number 2. Nature makes you happier and less brooding. So you talked about those sad days and just being sad and letting yourself have that big old ugly cry. If you get outside, you might decrease your need to have that big old ugly cry. So in 2015, there was a study that 60 participants went on a 50-minute walk either in nature or in oak woodlands or an urban setting along a 4-lane road. And before and after the walk, participants were assessed on their emotional state and on cognitive measures and then they were tested with things that required them to use their short-term memory. The results showed that those who walked in nature experienced less anxiety, rumination, which is focused attention on negative aspects of oneself, and negative affect, as well as more positive emotions in comparison to the urban walkers. So people who got outside in nature had a higher boost of those good feeling endorphins that your brain gives off than people who walked in the city. Number 3, nature relieves attention fatigue and increases your creativity. When you are out in nature, you're experiencing the fresh air, the animals moving and going about their lives. You notice the more vivid colors of the world, the sky, the grass, the flowers. Those are brain boosts that help keep you less stressed as a result of using nature. So these are things that are around you naturally. You can go outside in your backyard and see what I call urban wildlife. There's rabbits and birds and squirrels and gophers and sometimes skunks if you're lucky at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yes. All right. Nature can help you be kind and generous. Did you know that?
Absolutely not.
The potential impact of nature on a willingness to be generous, trusting, and helpful towards others, while considering what factors might influence that, creates in your brain kindness. You see the animals working together. You don't see squirrels and birds fighting over food. You kind of see like a squirrel that might go up and snatch the bird's food, but then he'll bring it back and him and the bird may eat it together. Or the bird may leave it entirely and then the squirrel leaves it too, and then one of them will come back eventually and get it. So watching animals be generous in nature makes us be kinder and gentler to ourselves and to each other. Isn't that something? All right. And last but not least, nature makes you feel more alive. With all of these benefits to being out in nature, it's probably no surprise that something about nature makes us feel more alive and vital. Being outdoor gives us energy, makes us happier, helps us to relieve the everyday stresses of our overscheduled lives. It opens the door to creativity and helps us to be kind to others. So, the research suggests that there's something about nature that is good for you physically and psychologically.
The thing for me with the happiness, it kind of reflects for me the attitude part, which is the last thing I want to get into. Is attitude is the mind's paintbrush.
Okay.
And that quote was given to me by my school.
Okay.
It's a poster hanging up in the middle of the hallway by the cafeteria. So it can color any situation. You can have a positive attitude, you're going to have a positive day. Negative attitude, negative day.
And being out in nature
creates that positive attitude.
Attitude.
If you got the attitude, you got the happiness, you're going to have a good day. You just got to have them factors to make yourself have a good day. At the end of the day, it's all about self-care, and that's all that matters.
So, in the words of our guest co-host, Elu, it's all about self-care, and that's all that matters. Continue to fly with us. First, love yourself. As we always say, When you're on an airline and the plane goes down, put your mask on first before you can save anybody else. Catch us next week with new episodes. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for our daily self-care assignments. And as always, you can email us your questions, comments, concerns, and show topics at flywithusla@gmail.com. And with that, we out.